Greetings and welcome back, everyone. This is Into the Nexus, the podcast all about heroes of the storm. I am Garrett Weinzierl, here with Kyle Fergusson. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing good. Things are back to normal. Free Hero Week is over, which means no more accidental exclamation point people. This is when you try to not pick yet by picking a hero you don't own, and then you accidentally pick that hero because all heroes are free. So that was trouble last week. And things are just kind of, there's a lot of Junkrat, but, it's settled. I jumped back up 2 ranks, back to where I was before the whole Deathwing madness. Everyone's like, the Deathwing hype is dead. Ranked hype is here, crazy person. The game is good. What are you doing complaining about a thing that will be here soon? Go do something else. I'm not sure. The game is fabulous.
I'm going to join in on your grumbles. I do not understand complaining, like the way you announced this thing or the way you did your hype. I just just go play something else. You clearly are mad about something else in your life, so just go do anything else with your time because you're just annoying me.
He's gonna be banned out anyway. You know that, right? Like, you're gonna pick him in quick match, sure, but you're gonna have like Valir and Murky on your team, and you'll be main tank Deathwing. Is that what you want?
You know what I say to that? Okay, Doomer. You damn doomsayers.
Yeah. That's over, though, right? We're done. We're done with that saying, it seems. We've moved on. The internet moves quickly.
I don't think so.
No? You think we're still going to be boomering it up here in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
I think so. Wow. I think it'll come to a head. There's going to be a bunch of Thanksgiving fights that will end with the younger person at the table going, okay, boomers.
Oh, that's right. I forgot we may have been prepping that verbiage usage for the upcoming Thanksgiving political debate.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm okay boomering myself, Kyle, because there's a new version of the Razer phone coming out, and I really want it.
Wow. What makes a Razer phone a Razer phone?
It's a foldable touchscreen. So the screen folds, so it looks like the old school Razer design from when we were in high school, but you fold it, and it's just a full-on touchscreen Android smartphone with no seam. It looks really sweet. I like it. I think it's cool.
I like the ones that not folded, but shifted upwards to reveal a keyboard.
A slider.
That was my jam.
Slider. Yeah, I had a
slider.
I had a Sony Ericsson. I think it was their Walkman edition. That was like my favorite cell phone. And I think that was my last phone before I got my first iPhone. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think I went from that to a 3GS. That's my first iPhone. So, anyways, back to Heroes, which we are not playing on our phones. So you're having a good time in ranked, man.
I am. I've been a support main this week. Basically, what changed is I can now read people's profiles again, and they make sense. And I can predict what my team's going to be picking based on their profile again. And I can make the appropriate pick. So I've actually been doing a lot of supporting because you go through the list and you go, okay, well, you're a crazy man. You're some sort of like Greymane, Kerrigan, what the heck? Okay, Malganis. I kind of know who you are. You want to dive in and you're going to do something. Murky, Falstad, Zeratul. Okay, so you're like a double soaker. Ooh, okay, I'll leave that open for you. And the biggest hole has been support. So I've been playing lots of Rhaegar. I got to do an Ariel game, which works great along Junkrats. I'd say my main success strategy this week is just making sure Junkrat is controlled. Either he's on my team or we work on countering him, which Diablo does pretty decently because he's always hanging up by walls so he can bounce over them, kind of Hanzo style.
What are you banning right now that the Junkrat's getting through?
Alarak. And then usually there's like a Garrosh request, which is still a little weird. I'm more afraid of the false.
That seems so outdated to me.
It is, but people fear it, and I just respect ban. So other than that, there's usually a map pick. I mean, if no one takes care of the Abathur, that goes away. So Alarak, Abathur are the two that must go in there. And then there's weird stuff like Malganis gets a lot of the first ban right now. He is very powerful. He has a great win rate at the moment.
Yeah. I just I feel like you can kill him though. Like, I kind of get Garrett. I still would rather fight a Malganis right now than a Garrosh, and I don't mind fighting Garroshes. I would let both those suckers through. Like, who gives a crap? Just kill them.
Yeah. I mean, the Garrosh gets picks, which feels bad, which puts you behind, but he's really weak to poke. And Li Ming's win rate is going up right now. There's a lot of Li Ming players.
Are we breaking through the wall? Have the Li Ming players stuck with it long enough that it's just so well refined?
They're getting better about picking with lane clear on board, but it might just be the Zeratools. Honestly, there is a development this week. I actually played a lot of Zeratul and figured him out. More so, figured out what other people were doing it with him. I still have trouble with heroes like that. Maev, just anybody who has zero self-healing. If I take one hit from a frostbolt, I'm just like, oh, half health. I'm out, guys. I gotta go. And it sucks. And basically, Zeratools, what they do is their late game. They want to get all the way to level 20 so they can take their mending. That level 13, their auto attacks heal, but really, they're not getting that many auto attack lock-ons in this current game. They're mostly just double soaking, and they're being played by people who also play Murky and Falstad. They're going for that shadow mending at level 20, 60% spell damage to heroes. So I got into Zeratul this week, and I was trying to figure out what the big deal is. They're all doing a cleave build. Greater cleave, increasing the range, damage over time. 7, they all do different things based on their particular flavor, but they all go Might of the Nerazim, and I couldn't figure it out. Void Prison is just such a powerful team fight ability. Back in HGC days, we all yelled at Zeratools. Well, sort of. There's always going to be counterpoints, so pardon me, Zeratul mains, but there's always that feeling that the Falstad should always be Mighty Gust. The Zeratul should always be Void Prison because you're a team player and you're going to set up sweet wombo combos. And I was thinking the Void Prison would be really cute because we could put them in a time stop until you come off cooldown for your spin, and you could kill them then. But actually what happens is Might of the Nerazim gives you a second spin of your cleave, and that's how you instantly clear a lane. So you wander back and forth between two lanes in stealth, maybe getting a sweet pick if someone's out of position, but mostly doing this double cleave business that allows you to lane clear, get your team to 20 first, and then you go in with shadow mending.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
well, if they're doing like the double soak, it makes sense that they're also playing Falstad and Murky.
Right. And to answer your initial question, because Zeratul is now doing double soak, Li Mings are able to be mages while having another character in a prime early pick position cover the lane clear. And I really believe that's why Li Mings are doing well now.
This might sync up really nicely with the first anomaly, because Jaina's gonna suck at getting XP post anomaly.
She might be pushed out. Falstad could be dangerous in there. If Stealth Zeratul walks into the middle of the lane, goes zoo, gets all the XP and leaves, he might be the superior double soaker. Along with, Zul, he's going to make the minions, so there's that whole, the minions may not last hit. We don't really know. We're hearing a lot of different versions of the XP right now. I don't think Blizzard knows exactly what they want to do with the anomaly yet. And that is coming in 3 weeks. So they need to make their decision. And we can help.
Yes, yeah, it certainly seems to be the case. But what everything you just described seems like it's just going to kind of bolt on to the new post anomaly meta pretty seamlessly. Because Li Ming isn't the best at it already, and if you're used to your Zeratul or your Falstad or your Murky kind of getting in there, I don't see any reason those 3 heroes wouldn't still be good at double soaking post the change that brings in the XP orbs. Like Falstad is probably the most dangerous to do that with, but he still has a dodge. Like he has a get out of jail card ability. So yeah, I don't see why that really changes much once we hit XP orbs.
Right. I mean, we have Malkiel, all of our bruisers in melee. Rexar, of course, sending out his bear, but Leoric's got to get in there a little bit to deal his, maybe Neil Peasants will be more powerful. Artanis can do his not swap dash forward in and grab the XP orbs via that. Sonya's already on top of them. Like, as much as people are afraid of their Falstads and Jaina's going away, the Bruiser role, who was originally covering the solo lane, is suddenly elevated. The only issue might be, as we've discovered this week, and I don't think anyone's prepping. I don't think these Zeratools are like, man, I'm double soaking in prep for anomalies. No, they just so happen to be in the position that could be really powerful coming up.
Sorry, it was clearing my throat / addressing chat. Yeah. So really, the more I think about it now, I think it's just kind of equalize things for mages. Your Kael'thas's and your Jainas were okay before, but it's going to make things a lot more dangerous for them now once the XP orbs hit. So, and
Jaina's and Kael'thas want those orbs anyway, and you should be making an informed choice if you're even going to get out there and get that orb. That's why Jaina has a range talent at 1 compared to an orb talent. So what are we all scared about? You go out there to grab an orb and maybe ETC grabs it for you because he's doing it too, and you're like, let's double rotate together on Volskaya. But seriously, like, it's going to be okay. But Blizz does need to decide which version of the XP we're getting, because right now we're not sure if last hitting is a thing or not.
Yeah, and I hope it's not. Like, that would just be a double dose of suck, in my opinion. I'd be really, oh God, don't please never let that ever be a thing.
I don't mind it as long as the Blizzard then sends those XP orbs flying across to double soak Jaina so that she knows she visually collected them, because that's really the reason why we're doing this. At the end of the day, we can adjust all these factors. We can figure out later. We just got to make sure the XP orb visualized system that is our gold is functional, so that we have it as a learning tool.
Yeah. So mages will just have to learn, like, they're just going to have to learn how to play patient and let the waves come to them.
Yeah.
Brave new world.
It is.
Brave new
world.
world.
Gazlo too. Gazlo will be in the thick of it. Like, all sorts of old solo laners could really make a big comeback.
Oh man, I owe an apology that this Gazlo player doesn't know they deserve to a Gazlo player from yesterday. We started the game, they were just blindly pushing top and Dragonshire, and we're just getting picked off by, I don't even remember what was giving us so much grief, but just having a hard time. And I'm just like, God, Gazlo, like, what are we gonna do? Like, they're roaming like gods, and we've just got a Gazlo just doing Gazlo things and losing a 1v1 to Avala. That's what it was. I remember I was like, come on, man. Come on. And I'm grumbling to myself. I'm not actually typing to the Gazlo. And then by the end of the game, the Gazlo had taken 2 dragons while we were keeping the roamers busy. And I was just like, I retract my private grumbles, Gazlo. You did what you needed to do. You kept us in the XP game. So you got caught with your pants down against Vala a couple times. You made up for it. I feel bad.
Happens.
This is why grumble should be kept private.
Well, and Gazlo being in the melee position with CC, or at least an area effect zone, if people choose to stand in it long enough, it's a CC, is looking better compared to something like Asmodan, who is getting his lunch eaten by Junkrat and Li Ming. So Asmodan is in a really rough draft place right now because he wants to solo push. He's weak to the gray mains that are going to go gank him. And he's often stacking on top of another mage and giving us a double burst scenario with a burst in the distant lane who then shows up. It's a weird, he's in a weird spot. And chat's bringing up too that this whole XP thing could be good for warriors, which is a pretty common thought for us to have when these sort of XP things change. And I don't think you're wrong. I mean, we could honestly go back to Tracer Genji being best soaker because they go in there and then dash away. But the easier to play version will be having big old tank McGee sit in the middle of the lane, absorb the orbs.
Yeah, you still need to like be able to efficiently clear the lane. I feel like Tracer. What the hell is Tracer gonna do? Like, slowly whittle down all the minions individually.
It's more about the ungankable nature. But you're right. And you know, would that in that world, I would like to see Blaze make it back to Bruiser. I think putting him into tank now that we have Ganis still feels really weird. It's not the worst thing on earth. I've seen really good blazes, and their zone control, particularly when they're on top of their oils and just letting their oils lie, is really good. But the public perception is that Blaze is a solo laner and a bruiser. Mal'Ganis elevated out of that, which is very interesting. We changed our perception on Mal'Ganis, and it feels like in higher league, everyone's become aware of how weak Arthas is until 10. We haven't found that respect for Blaze.
Fair. They haven't said if summons are gonna collect XP orbs, have they?
No, that's something to address as well, because there is the smite out of Asmodan's demon, and that's probably the big one.
Well, also just the fact that he spawns demons in the first place. Like,
yeah, and if those go on and get last hits, which the smite does, that's why it's so important there.
That would bring kind of the lane bully aspect back a little bit, I think, to Asmodan and to Zagara. Which, like, Zagara hasn't really lost it. She's still a lane bully, but like it just doesn't feel as impactful as it used to be. Yeah. But if you could bully the lane and safely collect XP because your roaches or your Hydra that kills its one target and then moves forward, just pushes down the lane, or they're picking up XP, that'd be a really cool added bonus to playing those summoner heroes.
Yeah, right now, Zul double soak the skeletons stick around, get last hits, you get XP. If they don't get the last hit, you get nothing. Zagara would need that, particularly on her roaches, and that's how you use it. You shoot your Baneling so far out, thanks to your level 1 talent, you're not going to be in range to pick those up. But if you could then choose to drop your roaches on top of that, and they do the absorbing, like a Nova clone's going to do. So there's some inconsistencies. Overall, I'm really excited about this, but I'm so curious to see the write-up. And we haven't had one. Even, Diablo 4 King of News at BlizzCon has had an additional write-up. Our news section's quiet. I know that BlizzCon 2 is a lot of work for developers. They're making, PowerPoint presentations and stuff that isn't working on the game when they go to BlizzCon. So I expect a delay after BlizzCon before information starts to flow. But I'm really looking forward to that official write-up.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you for sure. So... But before we get into kind of this week's news discussion, we should thank our patrons supporting us over at patreon.com/ITN, and also remind you, or announce, because I think we actually just decided on it today because we realized, oh God, Thanksgiving is coming up, that our next Patron Bonanza, which is our monthly get-together, where we meet up in Heroes of the Storm in the evening after we're done recording Into the Nexus on a Thursday, and we play unranked games. We draft together for usually over 3 hours. So go sign up over at patreon.com/ITN. It is one of the perks that you get for supporting Into the Nexus, and it doesn't matter what level you're at, however much you're giving us. If you are supporting us on Patreon, you have access to this perk. You can go sign up and play some games with us. It's a lot of fun, and we've been doing well. I don't think we've ended a bonanza in the red for 3 or 4 months now.
Thank goodness that whole Diablo Uther Kharazim thing went out of vogue, though, because that was rough for us. Rainbow League is a tough place to deal with 5 dive characters.
It is. Although I think we figured out at the last bonanza we should just put me on Uther and we'll just do the Uthering.
I mean, that's just too fun, though.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I got a 3 Divine Storm off yesterday.
Ooh, nice.
Wonderful. Just like an Imperious got in and skewered, I think 2, and a third person walked up, and I just Uther waddled over and just bam, Divine Stormed, and we won the game. That was the end of it. The Imperious, there's just this beautiful setup, and I just by the light, just it was wonderful.
I've got a guilty thing to admit. We were winning so hard with me on Uther, I went Divine Shield. Like, I honestly was like, I'm kind of bored of doing super stuns. Let's do some Divine Shield today just to mix it up and give aggregate websites a damn win in Divine Shield. It's been so long. There's hardly anybody worth Divine Shielding anymore since double support and super carries kind of went out.
It happens.
Yeah.
But it's all right, you can still have some fun with it. You can still have fun with it. But yeah, anyways, folks, if you like the podcast, the best way to support us is patreon.com/ITN. And to some of our more recent patrons, James E., Jesse S., and Gunter, thank you for the support. We really appreciate it. And again, the next bonanza is next week. Go sign up over patreon.com/ITN and join us for a ton of unranked games all night. And now we'll move into this week's news.
We're on, boys! Ha-ha! Let's liven up this place!
The moment is upon us.
Yes, I'd mana tap that.
Can he blow his nose in time? Deathwing.
That was quick.
Yeah, man. Deathwing. There's some. We're basically sitting here kind of trying to divine when the PTR is going to start. Season 3 ends on December 2nd. Well, the week of December 2nd. So we're assuming that's when this is going to happen, right?
Yeah, I would expect 1 week of PTR. So the 25th, they may do 2 weeks, but really, they've kind of just been in a put it live mood. People weren't playing the PTR anyway, so let's just get it all out there in one big pile. So we can expect Deathwing official with the season roll. And since he was played alongside the Nexus Anomaly at BlizzCon, that December 2nd patch or December 3rd patch will be your big update and season changeover.
I have got to imagine that they got a decent chunk of statistics from BlizzCon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with that line rocking.
Every time I was down there, man, it was a line. So I have to imagine they got a decent amount of games logged. Someone, who was it that tweeted at me? They waited in line 5 times before they finally got a chance to actually play Deathwing.
I heard someone got real lucky in my chat. They were telling me they went 8-0 on Deathwing. And apparently if you won on Deathwing, a dev would show up and hand you a special coin.
Yes. I had a friend give me one of those coins. They are sweet.
That's awesome.
They're sweet. Thank you, Mike. You know who you are.
Dev currency.
Yeah.
Cash it in for 1 free balance patch of your choice.
Oh, is that what I can cash it in for? Then make summons absorb XP orbs. That's what I'm cashing it in for.
There you go. You just put it in, find a slot in your computer, slide it in, it'll disappear.
And break your computer. It'll lodge itself in a fan.
Just put it in there.
And you'll realize it's conductive.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, more power to the system. Yeah. Like putting a nail in an active wire.
It's coming up in chat. How's your, did you get your 50 wins, Kyle? Are you done?
I did. Yeah, I'm done. I did it.
Nice. Congrats.
It did take a while though. I mean, I play what? Maybe 4. So 4 times, so 8. So I do about 8 ranked games a week on average, sometimes 10 or so, depending on queues and whatnot. But like, it took time, even doing it regular.
I'm not gonna get it. I'm not gonna get there. I was gone for a month, and I also went on an ETC spirit journey of learning. So it's not happening.
We don't know what the rewards are, though.
And I don't think we'll ever know what they are ahead of time ever again.
Probably not.
No. And I would imagine probably reskins from here on out.
Yeah, maybe the Nexified, the star versions of mounts we already have. I mean, Blizz, if you want to just bring back that armored raptor, I'm really close to Masters at the moment. And I'm thinking, knock on wood, we're going to get there this season. I really, really want that armored raptor, and I missed out so many seasons ago.
Bring in different colored versions.
Yeah, I got I sandwiched it. I believe I got the lion master one, and I got the elk on the other side, but in between they ran a damn dinosaur. And I think they also came out with Zul'jin around the same time, and I didn't have an armored dinosaur for my Zul'jin. Yeah. Still hurts.
I remember too that season, like the nerfs like hit your entire roster pretty much.
Yeah.
Like bullseye dead center. So sorry. But
yeah, you gotta be flexible, and I was not at the time for sure.
Yeah. I'm not expecting to hit it, and I'm not gonna rush for it. Just like I'm still getting my bear micro back up to date after October, man. Actually, it's pretty damn good if I do say so myself. I have been owning some fools on my Rexar this week.
No, we had some good times on the old Rhaegar Rexar combo. People like to ask, lots of people returning to the game, so let's throw it out right now. People are always asking us what our favorite duo stack team is. And I really like our Rexar Rhaegar, being able to put the lightning shield on the bear while he runs in. The control, the heal to help you get out of a dive is really nice.
Your ability in that, the first game we played, like I want to say within the first 12 levels, you dialed in. It's like you just started to feel when I was going to Misha charge.
Yeah.
Because that I would just see that the little lightning show up like right as I'm going to hit the W. And I'm just like, yeah, Kyle. Yeah.
You gotta. It's gotten a little complicated. It's gotten really cool, though. Because of the Malganis prevalence, Malganises want to put people to sleep. But if you put a lightning shield on them, they're going to wake up their targets right after they put them to sleep. And that's not the kind of damage you want doing the big wake up. So the amount of awareness as a Rhaegar player I've had to develop for what my tank is doing has made me a lot better at that sort of thing. Also, anytime you want a quick match and do our Butcher Uther thing, that's just a fabulous good time.
All for it. Simon, just call me, man. I'm going to install a red phone in my home that's just for you calling to do Butcher Uther games.
Perfect. Love it.
It's just going to go meat every time it rings. That's what it's going to do.
On repeat.
Yep, on repeat. Do we want to bother talking about the November 12th hotfix?
We do, because next week we got a note that we're going to get a balance patch. So Daybringer got on Reddit this morning and said that...
Oh, I missed this. This is news to me.
Yeah, so multiple login improvements aimed to help the future development of the game was all that the hotfix said. That came out on the 12th.
Oh, yeah, and it just ruffled all the feathers, and people were grumbling, and my Deathwing hype died before BlizzCon.
Hey, what are you doing expecting a full balance patch this soon after BlizzCon? They're busy. They're thinking about BlizzCon for weeks. They're not going to have something for you so soon. But Daybringer said that they're currently planning the next balance patch out to everyone next week, which is really interesting because they need to prepare some things. Maybe
yes,
some
more nerfs for Rexar.
Well, he's still winning a lot. You're pretty up there. I'd be sad if they nerfed Malganis, but he's also really up there.
Okay. Where were you going before I grumbled?
If they're going to prepare anything for Deathwing, I don't know if they're going to go through, what if they did a big giant killer kind of update and brought some of those things in line, maybe made them similar levels. Right now they're spread all over the place. Imperius is level 1. Malkiel always has it, but he has other spikes. Vala, Raynor, there's all these various giant killers spread across the game. Maybe that makes each character more unique, but Deathwing is going to be rather powerful with a lot of hit points. Do we need to standardize that?
If they, I don't know. Our patches are a little further apart than they used to be, so this would be dangerous, but it's Deathwing. If you're a little worried, just put him live. I kind of want him to be a bit of a bastard when he first hits the game. So, if that is kind of what's going on, I'm hoping they've got a giant killer. Like if they have it, I hope they're waiting in the wings, and their strategy is to release Deathwing, see how he does, and then release the giant killer update. In the next upcoming 2 to 3 weeks following Deathwing's release, so they can kind of make some adjustments with the live data that they gather, and also so Deathwing can just feel like a bastard.
Totally, and he needs to, because I'm sure he's going to receive bans because he's weird, and no one wants to deal with weird. If he takes a ban, though, we might need to prepare other aspects of the game, and I'm looking at Alarak right now. Alarak is a must ban because of Ruthless Momentum. Telekinesis cooldown recharges 75% faster while above 75% health. This is why Alarak is so powerful. His chance to whiff is more forgiving. Before, you would do a Discord Strike on an 8-second cooldown. You do a Telekinesis on a 12-second cooldown. Those two abilities would not line up. If you whiffed, you were on a very bad cooldown cycle. Now Alarax can whiff, say, no problem, I'll try again in 8 seconds. And every 8 seconds, they can go for a pretty major blow. If not the kill on Kael'thas, certainly a close to delete on the tank or whoever it is, and then they're stacking soon after. If you get rid of a ban, we need to clean up some of those other ban characters floating in the sidelines.
Or just don't ban Garrosh, you're fine.
It's fine. Or we just let Garrosh through again.
It's fine, let Garrosh through. It's okay. You're going to be okay, I promise you. I promise.
There's room. Draft poke. Just draft poke. It's fine. You can't deal.
Yeah. Had a game yesterday. You know who I was on? Sonya. You know who got tossed every single engagement? Me. You know what heroic I took? Leap. No one gives a crap. You know how many... Oh my God. I was the best bait ever, Kyle. It was fantastic.
There's also a lot of oddballs like Varian. We constantly hear about it. Bronze to gold, there's this perception that whoever gets Varian wins the game. Probably just, it's the butcher problem. It's the twin blade sort of business. Like, the game knowledge you have to counter that is a little strong. I saw a Tychus try to 1v1 a Taz Dingo level 20 this week, and it's like, well, no, you know, we're all almost masters here, but you didn't know that Taz Dingo 20 gives health for the damage he deals. You're not going to win a 1v1 there. You got to back out. And Varian takes a team. It takes a village to raise and defeat a Varian. And that's tough for lower leagues to deal with. Is there a way they can shore up that? Because you banned Deathwing, Varian's going to get through now, and the lower leagues are all going to be upset. What can we do to prep all those bans?
Fair.
And the final thought I have is, can they go through and get cute with some of our old CCs we may have nerfed into the ground at other times? Because Deathwing is such a CC counter, being unstoppable at all times, is there anything that may have been taken too far out that you could re-empower?
Do you have an example?
Well, for instance, could we have Medivh's portals last longer? It's not a huge impact on the game. It certainly isn't something that maybe we would want. Could he have Portal Mastery at 1? Because Deathwing simply can't ride portals, and he is calling for an entirely different way to play the game.
I'm terrified of the example you chose.
That's fair.
I don't like playing against Medivhs. That kind of stuff, I don't know. I'm with you on the idea of, like, maybe we take a look at Giant Killer because of Deathwing. Because I think the effect that has overall, it obviously depends on how much they tune it, right? If they overtune it, it's going to be really bad for everyone involved. But I don't know, something about looking at stuns, it's like so just across the board good in so many situations that I feel like if you look at stuns because of Deathwing, like, I don't know. No, I'm not putting that under plausible. I'm not putting that under plausible, but
That's fair.
Portals is a good example, though, even though it's not something I would like changed, because the idea of Medivh portals lasting even longer, kind of scares me. But that's a good adjacent,
right? Because we don't want to empower all stuns because they're good in all comps. It's kind of what Diablo did recently, which is rather fascinating. They had their set bonuses, which means like I played, I think it was Jade, Witch Doctor. And that, because I had the set, I ended up doing a whole Spirit Barrage build in Diablo 3. My gear informed my set. And now they're going the other way. They're saying with this gem or this item, you can play the game without any set bonuses. And if you don't have any set bonuses, you get a bonus on top of that. And that's kind of what Medivh and Deathwing are. Medivh is your set bonus. We need to make a team that works with Medivh. We need to make a team that works with Lost Vikings. Can we do the same thing and empower those abilities now that Deathwing is so extreme?
How do you feel about, I'm going to call it the gentleman tanks, the tanks that no one's mad that you picked, Johanna and ETC, because they have been sitting comfortably around the 53% win rate mark for what feels like ever. And where the gentleman tank that's not invited to the party anymore, Muradin, has been struggling with a sub 50% win rate for what feels like the same amount of time.
Yeah, Muradin's an oddball, but I picture him as a backline assassin. And anytime he's picked, I'm Thrall. And I am a bruiser because we need lane coverage because he's a tank thing. He doesn't clear lanes and stuff like that. He's not going to hang out in one lane like a Blaze might. Whole different story there with the Blaze. But we have to have a bruiser who's going to guard the back line while not also picking maybe Malganis in that case, and everyone tilts because we're too low damage. Muradin is going to go for their Hanzo and not stop until he got it. And that could lead him in some wild dwarf journey to the other side of the map. I agree with you there. I mean, a Nubarak, I was so darn pleased with myself because I saw on the enemy team they had a Lunar and a Li Ming as their primary damage, and I got to do a Nubarak, and it wrecked because that's all spell damage, constantly resetting my shields. That is the one place I would take a Nubarak. He's got fabulous stuns, but whew, he is such a burden on your support.
Yeah, man. I feel bad because like that's rad that you are that rewarded for countering, but it really feels like a Nubarak is useless outside of that exact scenario.
Yeah. I mean, he is cute against Malkiel because Malkiel deals last right's damage as a total number, not a percent, and your shields can negate a good number. But if Malkiel's on your business plus another tank, you're dead. So
yeah, you don't need the last rights to kill the Anubarak in that scenario.
Right, exactly, exactly.
That's just cool, man. I'll save it for another target. Like,
right, go kill my Vala who's dealing on the damage behind me, Malkiel. That's a better last rights target in that case anyway. Yeah. I'm countering you when you could just go kill somebody else.
I really am just mostly curious if you think they're happy with Johanna and ETC, because it's not like their win rates are like oppressive. They're not running away with it. It's just that they are notably higher than most other options.
I'd be more in the anti-ETC Johanna camp if we had more early pick tanks. But with two options there, that's pretty good. I fought a team this week who banned tanks for all three bans, and it got a little sparse real quick. The bans were, I believe, Johanna, ETC, and Arthas. And we had banned Ganis.
Yeah, I mean, that's the role where if you are in it, you don't really need to learn many heroes.
Yeah.
Unless you get into that situation. Because then you're like, oh, well, I played like 20 games of Muradin 3 years ago. Let me see if I can remember that. Like,
right.
What are you going to do? It's kind of rough. So I get that. I'd like to see an Arthas buff. I'd like to see Arthas get a little help.
He's such a phalanx, though. He's got to march everywhere. He is ideally good against those dive characters. Like, you know, if you see that Diablo Greymane frontline on the enemy side, sometimes, of course, if they can aim their curse bullet, oh man, tough day for Arthas. But yeah, we could use another one up there with ETC Johanna. And right now, I think it's Ganis, but I don't like getting kited. We're going to talk about Ganis a lot later, but we could use another for sure.
Yeah. It's probably off brand, but I'd like to see them entertain Rune Tap or Immortal Coil, some sort of self-healing as a baseline for Arthas.
Chat says Johanna's wave clear is too good. Fight me. No, we can't fight you there. That is too true.
That's been true since they nerfed her wave clear.
Ever since Knight versus Pawn was in the game and they decided to bake it in and nerf it at the same time, right? Like there are so many scenarios where the rest of the team is brawling nonstop and Johanna says, fine, I got this, with Sins exposed and Knight versus Pawn baked in. Condemn. It's great.
Yeah. Although maybe shaking up the backbone of your composition with tanks we all know how to play with right before really shaking up the XP game is maybe too many changes at once. Also, before adding an unstoppable hero we're going to have to fight.
So you know what? If we go off of that line of thought, if you want to buff Arthas, let's buff his lane clear. Let's give it the Knight versus Pawn treatment. Let's give it the Echo Petal treatment. His aura deals bonus damage to lane minions.
I mean, I don't think his lane clear is the worst thing in the world. He needs a way to get out with his life.
Well, I think that fundamentally changes the counter pick because he is the pick to characters who go in on him, not go.
But if you're giving him wave clear, like the point is to safely get the XP. And
oh, that's a good point. If we're doing the new,
especially in the new system, like what do you do in that sense? Maybe you start like when minions die near Arthas, he gets a move speed increase up to like make it modest, like maximum of 20%.
You know, at level 20, I'm taking Death's Advance right now on Arthas because that's That's what shores them up the most. Anti-magic shell, Legion of Northrend. If my ghouls are dying, they're dead. I'm already losing that game. Anti-magic shell is okay, but I'm taking physical damage all the time too. Death Advance, increase my movement speed by 10%, is actually what I need to win a game at level 10 as an aura machine. I'm an aura. I'm a floating aura. That's how I win.
Yeah. And Jagged Pixel says 20% move speed on Arthas is terrifying, but like not all the time, just when minions die.
Like the souls fly into him and he's all like, empowered by it. And he gets
I'm just throwing a figure out there. Maybe 20% is too much. Maybe it's 10%. But something so that he can get the XP and get out safely.
He summons a ball for no reason, but then is able to throw terrain at his enemies.
Man, you've got to be the person that just hates it when anything ever comes up with a new ability in its fiction.
I didn't mind the chains. The chains were nice. The ball made no sense.
It's a different Lich King. Figured out new stuff.
You know what is really is a problem? I have a problem with muscle wizards.
Muscle wizards. Okay.
Yeah, like you go back to scrawny little dudes with books if you're gonna be casting big old spells.
But that's what Death Knights are muscle-bound spellcasters with giant weapons.
Well, they need to be reined in.
Warrior warlocks. That's what they've always been.
Yeah, that's true.
They have always been that, Kyle. Since day one. Since Gorfield.
That's true. Okay, you got me there. And he is suffering on the inside. Like, it's a dude who doesn't want to be there. Being taken over by another dude.
I am legitimately excited for the next WoW expansion because they have said we're going to spend a lot of time with Bolvar because he's not dead. He was just beaten.
Yeah, I respected what he did too. I'm for him. I like him.
I wasn't that interested in him. Obviously, giant Arthas fanboy, but now I'm in. I'm in for this. Like I'm on board. Where are you taking me? I'm along for the ride.
Okay, cool. So we can agree then that the orb is okay because Bolivar is suffering horribly.
Yes, and also awesome. He's had a lot of time to just sit up there and be bored and
come up with new spells,
figure out new things. He watched Frozen once and he was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool."
Like he's playing Oblivion. He's been sitting up there with the book, crafting new spells, trying to come up with something decent, and that was the best one he had come. He was like, check this out, Sylvanas. Since we last fought, I came up with something cool, but she's more worldly now. She's seen more, and her thing was cooler.
Her thing was cooler. The chains were cool, man. I like the chains.
They were cool. I like the chains too.
And fighting through her cough. I was annoyed with her fight with Sourfang because some people afterwards were like, where did she get that power? I'm like, y'all, Sourfang is a basic ass warrior and she is a raised from the dead magical banshee. Nothing in that fight made me think, oh, that's power I've never seen her use before. Like, it's purple smoke. All we've ever seen from her is purple smoke. Like, and then then we get
they should have done though is all the onlookers have little shout symbols pop over their head. So he's buffing everyone in the area doing all that screaming, but no one else is participating.
Right. Like, I get it. He's way bigger than Sylvanas. Doesn't matter. Sylvanas is otherworldly.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God. I'm so salty about that. But then I got the Shadowlands and the chains come out. I'm like, what the hell's with the chains? And then they announced the Jailer, and I'm like, oh, cool. Mysterious power. She's in league with this new mysterious villain, and that's where the chains came from because his name's the Jailer. It makes sense. There was none of that in the Sourfang cinematic. I was just like, what? Yeah, it's just purple smoke. It's Sylvanas shit. I've seen it a million times.
Sylvanas skin for Kel'Thuzad is what we're getting at.
Sylvanas skin for Kel'Thuzad?
Yeah.
I mean, you could give him a Jailer skin.
Oh, well, that'd be handsome too. But I'm saying just elongate Sylvanas, map her on top, use your, skin lamp powers, and just make it hideous. But she floats around with little floaty demon business and shoots chains.
Yeah. Oh. Yep.
What were we talking about?
We were basically at the end of our predictions for what we think will be in the next balance batch. And I think we talked about so many things. One of them has to be right.
Okay.
One of them has to be right. But yeah, we got some questions from folks in our patron Discord about possible future anomalies, and we figured we'd kind of stick them in here too while we were kind of making our best guesses for the balance patch. And we're going to kick it off with Siri, who wrote in and said, what would you say to a Nexus anomaly that changed all fountains on maps to function like they do in Brawl, invulnerable until the fort/keep is destroyed, then dies with the fort/keep? I'm glad you told me this because I haven't played a Brawl in 3 years. I don't hate it. I don't know what I would do with my first Dragon Knight anymore, but I don't hate it. That's one map. It's one map. Well, I guess I wouldn't know what I'd do with my first Triglav Protector either. But
well, I don't think anyone cares about that. I think you're playing the gentleman's game there. When even Nazebo chooses to burn through the entire wall unattended, put up a zombie wall around the well and burn it down with some spiders, nobody cares. It's when Genji and Nova and Li Ming go snipe in the well that gets people upset. And it's a prevalent strategy in lower leagues where people are looking for all sorts of cute things to give them an edge.
Can we just make turrets and towers murder you dead? Can we just do that? I still to this day do not understand why the towers aren't a damn near guaranteed death if you get hit by them. Like they shouldn't be able to do that. And it is one of my from day one. I'm like, I played Dota once. These are laughable. They're laughable. Like you can get away with so much that I feel like you shouldn't be able to. If you are in range of towers, you should die if there's not a mini wave with you.
And there's all sorts of cute tricks you can pull too. This week with all the Rhaegar play, I was dropping a totem, and a totem's a summon, which has target priority on buildings over heroes. And that thing absorbs 3 hits. You know how much damage you can do to a fort while that thing shoots out 3 hits? Your whole team can be on top of that thing with no trouble at all. Yeah. It's rather insane.
Yeah. It's
I mean, what if we made kind of a middle ground, because we do not reprioritize heroes when they're in range. Our priority continues through the list and then eventually reaches heroes. If there is 5 minions, it'll kill all 5 minions first and then go to a hero. In Dota, it works on what it's currently shooting, but then prioritizes a hero over that. So we either need to change target priority, or the simpler thing to do, I think, would just be change the locations. Like let's make a valuable piece of defense and have it be in tower range at all times.
I mean, it is in tower range at all times, isn't it? Well, I guess you get in that corner.
Right. If you're being cute on Hanamura and all these other maps where you're going around and sniping it from the side, then...
Yeah. But anyway, back to the answer to the series question is I would not be against trying this. I do like the idea of being able to tactically destroy the fountain, and the reason we're getting into this conversation is I think if we're like throwing the baby out with the bathwater to deal with like 2 heroes that can really game the system, then we should probably look at those 2 heroes or towers in general and not this. But if we're looking at this as just a way to kind of keep the fights happening, like that's interesting. Like, why not?
Well, and that's why the well exists, ideally, is that it is in a poor position that causes you to move forward in order to use it. Because when you're zoned out, you can't heal and gain that advantage. Otherwise, there'd be a well inside the fort, and we would just click the fort.
I actually don't know the answer to this. They come back on Towers of Doom, don't they? When you reclaim the tower?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way to implement that for other battlegrounds, but...
The wall stays down, but the fort...
Yeah, I think that's part of what makes towers so kind of fun and frantic, is like, if you've got that tower, you've got fountains the whole game.
Yeah.
Which is pretty freaking cool. So, yeah, it's like, well, I like Towers of Doom, so yeah, Siri, I'm on board for this. Let's give it a shot. Why not?
What if a little worker comes out and works on one, right? Like a mule. Like what if you keep your fort for a while and the well is rebuilt by a little wisp or whoever thematically would be rebuilding that well for you?
Oh, can we just use the Warcraft 3 peon model?
Yeah.
Just comes up, more work. just comes out, starts hammering on it.
Yeah, clunking along there. I mean, we have the mule. He could come out and bzz, and rebuild. And you kill the mule, you stop the fort from being built, or the well from being reconstructed. That could be kind of a way to gamify it, where that person who really loves sniping wells could do it over and over again. They could be a real mega butt in your system, but that would be their number one strategy. And you could actively defend it once you know that Genji on the enemy side is totally into this sweet move they have.
Yeah. Then Bob Goat wants to know how we feel about hero kills also dropping XP orbs. It would also give a visual indication through the game about how much a kill is worth, but also potentially not getting that XP. I kind of already still get a little grumbly at times when our team has significantly more kills than the opposing team and they still have somehow stayed in the XP game with us. So anything that makes that even more likely to happen, I am not for, because I feel like at a certain point when you get outplayed that many times, you should lose the game. But I wouldn't mind a visual indication. I don't want them to go on the ground, though, and there to be the potential of you not being able to get that XP. I'm philosophically opposed to that suggestion.
The feels bad moment is very real on the Butcher. When someone dies in enemy tower range and you see that meat dancing there and you can't reach it because you're the Butcher, you need the meat, but now that tower is active and firing on you and all sorts of things of that nature. That's where my brain immediately goes. So it does feel bad. However, there's also the oddity that if someone dies to a boss in some distant land and you go, oh, where was level 3 Varian? What just happened? He was trying to solo a boss. Cute Varian. You didn't have the levels for it. What were you trying to do? That XP goes to you. That's a kill for the team. And it flies mysteriously across the map. It would reveal his death location in that case. So there's a lot of oddities to deal with. I think it would feel bad, but it's interesting.
Yeah. It's
Oh, and that's a great point too in the chat. Poisons. The whole point of being poisons is putting on your sunglasses, watching them run behind the wall, trying to get to their well, but they die of poison. And then you're throwing away XP all the time. That would suck.
Yeah, I'm super against this. Super against. I'm bringing a visual, but no mechanical change. No mechanical change. You want to talk about some blue posts?
Let's do that.
All right. Someone noticed this week that K.O. Milker is also the production director for Warcraft 3 Reforged, which prompted a reply from K.O. Milker saying, "Yes, but don't worry." Was basically the message. I feel kind of bad, like he felt that the message was warranted, but we all run away with our brains sometimes. So
I think the producer is can do multiple things. Of course, our design team is hard at work.
I found out that's the case for the CMs on Heroes as well while I was out there at BlizzCon. They're also on the Diablo front over there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's the right place to put them. It's not the demand of the Warcraft team or anything like that.
Yeah, it's not constantly just into this ongoing march of publicity, right? And especially right now, I mean, Diablo 4 is still God knows how far away. So that makes total sense to me, considering the cadence of updates to this game and that game. So, and then there was a lot of conversation in the subreddit this past week about auto chess going to Hearthstone and not to Heroes of the Storm, and Keenabrew got in there and said it would be pretty easy to set up in our game, but that I think Hearthstone did a bang up job and I played a lot. That said, it would take longer to get to a quality bar we would be happy with. Auto chess is a fun game mode, and I think the implementation in the Hearthstone makes sense from a gameplay standpoint too. Most of the time when I play auto chess, I set up my board and I'm surfing the internet or watching TV. I don't need pretty models and awesome animations to ignore. That seems like a waste. I also like that I can read what certain cards do instead of guessing what they might do in a 3D asset. I've even seen feedback to speed up Hearthstone's Battlegrounds combat. I agree with that. I understand the desire for this in our game, but Hearthstone's Battlegrounds just makes more sense to me. And I agree. Just because, like, obviously what I'm about to say is kind of predicated on a base assumption that if we had an auto battler come out of Heroes of the Storm, it would probably be pretty similar to the other auto battlers that are out there. But Hearthstone Battlegrounds is really unique compared to the competition in how it functions, because of the way that it's built as Hearthstone as a backbone. And I kind of think you need that. You need something to kind of set yourself apart from the pack. And I think that's exactly what they've done with Battlegrounds. But I also totally get us as Heroes fans kind of wanting to bring back some hype to our client.
Right. But it didn't work out in that way. The teamfight tactics people and the auto chess people are those people. They did not migrate over to the main game. And altogether, I found each of those modes to be rather terrible learning tools. Sure, you get an item with a similar name, and maybe on Hearthstone you get a card of a similar name and ability, but you're not really getting ingrained in the system. I don't think Hearthstone is seeing a increase in ranked play because of Battlegrounds over there.
No, and that's kind of my point, is like, do you want it because you want Heroes of the Storm auto chess, or do you want it because you just want more attention for Heroes of the Storm? And I think if it's the former, then I just feel bad for you because you didn't get what you wanted. If it's the latter, I just think it's a Band-Aid.
Yeah. And I get wanting the version of the game you want to play with the assets that you want. It's a fascinating world we're in currently. Like Dota, I've been following Dota a lot recently because they're in a fascinating place. League of Legends has just been exploding, and they just had a giant World Cup. Everyone feels like their lunch was eaten. But we all need to take a bit of a step back and realize that, if you play baseball and it's the Super Bowl, don't be complaining about the lack of baseball on TV. Like, let's give it a little bit of breathing room. But Dota is equally saying our auto chess sucks. It didn't bring people over. This game doesn't know how to advertise itself. Our devs haven't made the game friendly for learning players. This is a conversation happening across the internet, and it's very, very interesting. And it's cool here to have a artist's view on it, that the assets, however beautiful they are, and the characters, however much we love them, and Heroes of the Storm, you do ignore them in this game mode. Whereas so much of what I love about Heroes of the Storm are those animations and how they play to the gameplay. It was so shocking to me this week to be practicing Sylvanas for the first time, really. Like, in all seriousness, wanting to learn Sylvanas. Her auto attack kind of sucks compared to Vala and Zul'jin and Thrall, all these like snappy dual wielding, instant throwing, not Thrall, but the two axes, two bow, the hand crossbows. I still don't like those double wielding guns. Oh, just ever since, Tomb Raider had those like pop out like clips that she used in the movie.
Oh, you're talking about the movie, dude? Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. I hate it.
But it had the guy from Game of Thrones, and he was okay. It also had 007 naked in the shower, so it had its moments.
Bad films.
They climbed all over the, Dark Crystal universe machine.
Boy, yeah, man. Yeah. All I'm thinking about right now is all the times you've just dumped on new Star Wars, and here you are defending the Tomb Raider live action film.
Listen, it came out on my birthday, and I got to choose a movie for my birthday, and I picked that, all right? I'm trying to defend my 16-year-old birthday here.
Okay. Oh, so that would have been the sequel?
Oh, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not actually sure which birthday it was, but I saw it.
Because I remember seeing the first one, and I'm pretty sure I didn't have a driver's license yet. Anyways, double crossbows drive me nuts too because they just make no sense. They shouldn't work.
But they're snappy and they're amazing. And Sylvanas carefully loads up her bow and then goes pachoo, and it kind of sucks the first time you play it.
It's slow for sure, but that's where it's obviously intentional, especially like have post rework with the way her trait built up. And also, like, from a visual standpoint, it makes the use of your Q, of your Withering Fire, so much more, like, it has an impact to it. I'm not talking about, like, impactful in the way that it affects the game, but just visually how it makes you feel as the player of Sylvanas. Because your normal auto attack, you're like, man, this is kind of podunk, slow, lazy. And then you hit Withering Fire, you're like, oh my God, there's a shadow of me machine gunning out arrows. So that to me is why Sylvanas is just freaking cool.
And it's a fantasy of being the bow user that works really well and makes her so different from Vala. Yeah. And even Greymane versus Thrall. Greymane's more snappy with his 2 claws in dog form over Thrall, who has to wield also a very fast mace, but a mace that's a tiny bit slower. And it's so cool that those animations have such a huge impact in the way those play. One of the things I get excited about for Hearthstone Battleground is the binariness. And I am going to play it. I just haven't gotten around to it. I'm enjoying my adventure deck and Magic the Gathering, but whatever. Like, it sounds fun, and I like that you can have that methodical board game-like play style.
Yeah. I'm really impressed by it. I mean, as you know, dude, I got on the auto chest wagon really hard for a while there, and like Battleground's better. Really digging it. And they're going to be updating it very, very soon, which is not what I'm used to from that team, but cool nonetheless.
And if anyone thinks I'm pooping on Sylvanas, we're going to talk about it later. I love her.
It's coming up. There's a reason he's been working on her. There's a reason. We're going to talk about it in emails, which start right now.
Darkness stopped calling.
Does anyone else hear that buzzing?
Hold on. Darkness just texted me.
You can send your emails to itncast@gmail.com. If you're supporting us over at patreon.com/ITN, congratulations, you are now in the patron-only Discord. You can also write us there. Valkymer writes in and says, Magic Wand territory, if you could magically change one map, how would you change it? Kyle, do you have an answer for this?
The first thing that comes to mind is Hanamura. I dislike it when we're doing the deep turn-in, and they are behind my fort. That giant hole there with no gate or any walls, and they just turn in, and then they come running around the back of my fort. What are you doing? This is my house. Get out. There should be some defenses.
I would cash in my Deathwing coin for that.
All right. But we're spending Deathwing coins.
Ooh. That's really it. I don't have a lot of personal vendettas against any one particular thing on any one particular battleground. Except for, and I'm sorry if anyone listening had anything to do with the art on this battleground, if I could wave a magic wand and just turn Dragonshire from the princess area in Disneyland, which is the most generic, boring thing in the world, to a Warcraft skin, and I'm actually taking the control of like some famous dragon from Warcraft lore, that's what I would do. Because I am so sick of listening to this character I don't give a crap about talk about her husband who died. I don't care, Kyle. I don't care. I came to Heroes for Blizzard IP. I'm not into it. It's not for me.
I'm sorry to say, Garrett, I don't think you're shocking anybody.
Yes. Yeah.
But let us also say that Dragonshire redesign is beautiful, and I really like it. And I respect that you decided a long time ago that any character could become a hero. So let's make up our own battleground mechanics that would never be heroes, so the world is open. But then you went and made Braxis with Ultralisk and Hydralisk, and I will never have a hunter-killer character. You broke my heart.
I will never forgive you.
Never forget all the abilities I could have had. My level 10 choice between range increase or turning into a lurker. Gone.
I just wanted a Zergling. I just wanted to run around the map super fast as a speedling. What'd you give me? Tracer. Ugh. Is right. What I say to that guy.
It's messed up. Now, if it was a really powerful magic wand, I would like to incorporate Alterac Pass's core into all cores. I think cores are a little wimpy. And Alterac Pass's core is decent. It regenerates, which is neat. It has multiple attacks. Sure, it sounds like it's doing Chubby Bunny, but that's okay. I like that it defends itself, and all cores don't have to get up and start spinning around, but maybe they can summon little Nexus storms or have spells and cooldowns that they seem to use to help them defend at least the bulk of the early attack.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. Again, map specific, I got nothing. I would use a bigger magic wand to make our map rotations for every season half the size they currently are. Take half the maps, get them out of there. I want smaller map pools for ranked modes, and I've been asking for it for years, and I'm never going to get it. But
are you saying Alterac Pass, Braxis Holdout, Cursed Hollow, Dragonshire, Hanamura Temple, Infernal Shrines, Sky Temple, Tomb of the Spider Queen, Towers of Doom, and Volskaya are too many maps to keep track of to play ranked?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And then apply that to unranked so that when I'm practicing, I'm actually practicing.
Mm-hmm. I think that is cool. I wouldn't mind if we categorize them. We've done that before when we go over metas on this show. Like, what if we said 2-3 lanes, 1-2 lane, and that's it?
To be interesting.
Could be.
Yeah. I mean, we've mentioned this before, and there's a lot of listeners that disagree with me. But, yeah, it's so much to wrap your head around. And right now would be a fantastic place to do it when we're about to upset the XP apple cart.
I guess better would be like 2-3 lanes with summons, 2-3 lanes with collections kind of thing.
That's the thing, right? Is because you have, I think, more objective overlap than you have map layout overlap.
Right. So no Alterac Pass and Garden of Terror at the same time. No, what would it be? Defend the Point? So Sky Temple and Braxis at the same time?
Yeah. Like, I was so excited when we were about to have a season with no Dragonshire. And
it's a stressful map.
Yeah. Like, I love it. I have a good win rate on it. But I would be fine. I would be fine with a season where it's not in the rotation.
Alterac Pass is really taken over as my favorite at the moment, though.
I love it.
Yeah.
Dude, the fights. There's so much room and yet so little room for so many possibilities, just depending on where you're standing. It's great. I really like it.
The investment of the mud, like, as crazy as that is, the fact that you need to cross over mud and be like, I'm here now, I will now fight to the death for the most part, or be very, very slowed walking away, is fabulous.
Yep. All right. Lord Commander writes in, says, who are the Merc heroes? I know of Artanis, but I'm wondering if there are any others that I enjoy more. I've noticed on all my matches, no one knows how to Merc, and yet somehow the enemy side does. Do I need to start taking Mercs right before objectives myself? What heroes would fill this role well? Well, anyone with bribe is the simplest answer. So you can get yourself a Murky, a Falstad. Who else has bribe? Raynor doesn't still have bribe, does he?
No. Nova would be your other one.
Oh yeah, Nova. I'm done talking smack about Novas because the ones I get matched with still kick ass. But I will never recommend anyone go and learn Nova if they haven't already taken her up on their own. Nova's that thing, like, if you want to play Nova.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, and Brightwing.
You can't.
How could I forget Brightwing? Thank you, MetaHuman.
Oh, did you not say that? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Brightwing is another big one. I love it. Brightwing's. I mean, that's the only hero I really play that has bribe on the regular. So,
but those actually don't come in the top ranking of, in general and statistically, the most Merc camps taken per game.
Hit me with those sweet stats, Kyle.
Number 1, with 4 Merc camps, 0.42 per game, is Greymane.
You said his name wrong. Try it again.
Dog Boy?
No, I love it when you say Greyman.
Oh, Greyman. Oh, yeah. That's because I have a collection of names that I say when I'm scared to the enemy. I'm currently not afraid I'm not in game.
So when I hear you go, oh, Greyman.
Oh, Greyman. Yep. That's me being scared. Oh, Greyman.
Oh, Greyman.
Oh, look out for Dibbles.
Yep.
Underneath. That's why when I have to fight McIntyre, I call him Wacky Mac or Big Mac because I'm terrified of him.
Let's call this the top 5. All of these are above, on average, 4 Merc camps per game. And it's Greymane, Rhaegar, Murky, Artanis, Sonya. A lot of people are real down on Sonya right now. But, boy, I have a really good win rate with her this month, dude. And what few games I played last month.
I think she's solid. You're not taking a role. You're not defending your back line, which is probably her biggest trouble right now. Your tanks are going to be CCing pretty deep usually, and that's where I feel like Thrall and maybe even, I mean, Malkiel's rarely teleport backwards to help out, but they can delete somebody too deep, particularly the tank that's harassing your back line. Sonya's going to spin, and she's going to spin to win.
She is. And also when you're in fights, if you're playing Artanis, like, you can already land a swap. You can definitely land a spear.
Yeah.
You can totally
spear might even be better now, thanks to movement speed and all that.
Yeah, I believe in you. One
thing you'll note about the pile you just said is how early the camps are that they're taking. So when we get into the lower part of the list with 3 camps taken per game, we're looking at Samuro, Malkiel, Rexxar, Illidan, Jaina. And all those characters either need their lane covered to go do the business because they won't be assumed they're going to go do camps in the first place. Maybe Illidan is the oddball there, but they really benefit from levels like Jaina. You also have Kharazim at the bottom of our list here because he's insight build and he's like, guys, I'm not a healer yet. I'll be back later.
Yeah. The one I would really recommend that I think most people can pick up is Malkiel. If you're not looking at Malkiel, take a look at Malkiel. I don't think it's hard to learn him versus something like Samuro. Because Samuro is technically ekes out Malkiel on this list. He's just above him. But Samuro is such an extremely unique kit that, like, if you're not inherently interested, I feel like it's going to be a lot of work and you're not going to be able to translate it to any other heroes.
Man, I have put a lot of work into Malkiel and I just have not landed on him. And I'm doing Thrall a lot right now too. I need alternative bruisers. I just don't feel like I can get that guy to sing.
I really think he's comp dependent. Think of him as a counter pick. You're gonna know it when you see it, and I don't think he's a blind pick. I don't think he's a one trick. I don't think he can one trick Malkiel.
No, and I think that's what makes him so horrible to practice in quick match. Yes. Whereas Sylvanas, Thrall, like these characters, they can do their jam. You're gonna figure him out in whatever comp you get. But Malkiel, oh my goodness, you're gonna have a bad time.
Go in with a friend, have them support you, or if they don't like healing, have them dive with you. Absolutely.
I would go at the top of this list. I'd go big or go home. Greymane or Rhaegar. I think Rhaegar is fabulous at it. A support disappearing for an early siege camp before the first objective. There shouldn't be any big supporting you're doing anyway. Your heals aren't online. You don't have your level 10. It's a great thing to do and contribute. Absolutely look that way. And Greymane, mechanically, if you're looking to climb, he's going to teach you so damn much about when to engage properly. The amount of burst you have when you do go biting butts is fabulous. And people are assuming you're going to camp anyway. And you're not solo lane material per se. You can do really, really well there. But Artanis and Sonya, along with that Rexxar, are going to be waving and be like, hey, can someone cover this lane? No? Is no one interested? Okay, no mercs.
Exactly. And we're not really doing it right now, the solo laners, because you've got your bribes from your Falstad or your Jainas are just doing it now.
Yeah.
And you probably, Jainas, it's not like you're probably close to half your games. You're probably, running along with the Jaina. So, dude, I can't remember the last time I like solo merked on Rexxar. Like, I know he made the list, but it's just, there's no need for it.
Yeah.
Plus, they've nerfed his mercenary talent into the freaking ground.
Yeah, removing the speed is what hurt. He doesn't need the damage or survivability or anything else it would give. Because doesn't it give armor and stuff like that versus non-heroic hits?
I don't even remember anymore, man. I don't take that talent.
Don't even look at it.
I don't even look. It's dead to me. I just take Spirit Swoop and move on with my life. Or not Spirit
he takes 50% reduced damage from minions and mercenaries.
He doesn't need that. Misha's taking it, and one of your abilities is to heal Misha.
Right.
Like, just heal Misha. The problem is the speed with which Rexxar, he's actually kind of slow at taking mercs now.
Exactly. And he can't be excused, which Rhaegar, Jaina can, and even Greymane in that case.
Yeah, I don't like Rexxar as a merc taker. He can do it. So when it happens, when it's like, oh, there's nothing better to do right now, rad, go do it. But if it needs to be done even in a remote hurry, there's 1,000,001 other heroes better suited for the job. So, but yeah, there's a lot of other heroes out there. So So best of luck to you. And Lord Commander also had a follow-up. Wanted to know if there was any advice for Sylvanas, saying that he loved her before her rework, had a 60% win rate on her, but after her rework just hasn't been able to get the same results. So you've been working on her. What have you noticed?
Well,
besides
she has
like weird auto attack.
Yeah, that's definitely the first one, because everyone wants you to do the dagger business. But in the early levels, before you hit 7, you need to get 3 auto attacks in before you get your dagger out and stack it. And getting 3 auto attacks on really anything other than maybe like a Blaze who you can easily walk out of the way of is extremely dangerous, and it's going to take a really, really long time compared to your other heroes.
You don't need to do that at past level 7.
Right, because then you have the festering wounds.
There's no point. You just open up with a wave and you kill anything you want, basically.
And it's really comp dependent to do that. You're going to give kind of burden style. You're going to give your escape in order to do this burst of damage. And you are doing a burst build. It is very sexy when it works out well. You're going to feel like an absolute badass, even teleporting in on that person and deleting them big time and putting all those Qs into them while you also teleport close to them, meaning they're the priority target. If you want to learn Sylvanas, I would 100% go with the Q build, though. It's just going to be way easier to do. It teaches you to prioritize your withering shots with your barb shot at level 7, making sure all hit the same target for all 5 shots. Your Windrunner is going to give you some cool playmaking ability, and you still grab Bolt of the Storm because, hey, why not? You're using your Windrunner, your Haunting Wave, as an offense ability. Let's get Bolt of the Storm for either more offense or that emergency defense.
I have not been playing this build. I tried it just for the show today. I understand how it is easier in concept.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
That's fine.
I also had like one of the worst possible games to like have it shine because I was against a Dahaka. So every time I would open up with Withering Fire, he would just go invulnerable and all shots would never land. And there was also a Valera on the other team, which the only thing this Valera did was wait for me to show up and delete me. Never killed anyone else the entire game, put their basic Nexus spray down every single time. So I was just dead all the time. We won the game, by the way, because the Valera got nothing else done. But yeah.
Yeah, and you're going to feel that. You're going to feel like Vala with no stutter stepping ability. And that was the most shocking thing about her. And into things like Arthas that I thought I would do really well with a dagger build went horrible because I'm trying to kite him backwards. And the amount of time you turn around and load up your bow and finally Pachu is not Vala. You are not really on Sylvanas so much a stutter stepper.
I mean,
that's why Q build helps you be mobile.
Again, once you get the 3 stacks on, you can keep it at 3 stacks with the speed of your stutter step.
Absolutely.
That's fine. It's just that if you mess up at all against Arthas, then you're hit by the aura, you're slowed, and your party has been ruined. And also you opened up with your get out of your escape. So
exactly.
That's the problem. You
vaulted aggressively.
You need a lot of practice on Sylvanas before you do the dagger build. So I'm with you 100% just because I had one kind of weird game with the Q build. Like we still won. So like it's fine. I was just kind of like, boy, I'm not getting a lot of mileage out of this, but I'm not sure I would have gotten much mileage out of the dagger build either because I would have been standing and fighting and Valera still would have got me. So I really like Sylvanas right now. Like I mentioned last week's episode, I love Tychus. Dude will always have a special place in my heart, but I don't see any reason to take him right now if you can take Sylvanas.
Odin's still very powerful. And that's about the only thing he has over Sylvanas
more
right now.
More powerful than an AoE silence?
Tychus burns stitches better? But that's about the only situation, really. The front end damage on Tychus, and that's what I really found out this week. We've been a little tough on Tychus because his front end damage before level 7 is way better than Sylvanas's. Once Sylvanas comes online, whatever build you're doing at level 7, she is now getting to be superior. And you can really 1v1 some fools with Wailing Arrow. And like it's cool to like hit a whole team and be like, yeah, all right, the silence, get them. It's totally worth it to be an absolute badass. Shoot this in melee range and just delete somebody off the planet.
Yeah.
I love it. I think the biggest hurdle once you get over the mechanics is just remembering possession, that you have it, that you can cast it all the time pretty much.
Just constant, just slamming the one button, even if like I don't even look at it anymore. I'm just like, did it change? Okay, I guess I don't have any stacks anymore. But yeah, by the way, Kyle has linked both the dagger build and the Q build. Start with the Q build for learning, and let us know how it goes. Keep in touch. So, and then Brad C writes in. You mentioned Mal'Ganis a million times. Brad C wants to know, when is it a good time to pick Mal'Ganis? I like his playstyle. I'm decent with him, but I'm not really sure when it's time to pick him. Sounds like right now, all the time. Sounds like it's a good time to be a Mal'Ganis main.
It's not bad. You do have some major weaknesses in forms of quick CC. Not all CC, just the quick ones that you need to be worried about. And the ones that should completely remove Mal'Ganis from your head are mostly Uther, ETC, and Alarak. They're going to stun you very quickly. The second they see you trying to ult, they're going to reposition you. Their stuns work on you while you're flying, trying to sleep them. And those are going to be really rough. Rexar can also do this, but most lower league Rexars are more just using the bear to stun groups. But a passionate Rexar player like Garrett here could absolutely grab a Mal'Ganis stun out of you. And same with the Stitches. Again, a little unique. They're not usually looking to interrupt you. Any quick CC should turn you off of Mal'Ganis very fast.
Take the Uther. Just click them.
Yeah, just get rid of Uther. You're also a little weak to being kited because you aren't the fastest thing on Earth while you are flying around trying to sleep people. Lucio boops, hammer pushing you back. Those can really be your big turnoffs. Lunara can kite you very easy. Rainer's another pushback character too. Pretty long cooldown there. Vala, I'm going to put in quotations here. She can kite you, but you should be doing an armor build anyway with I got to make sure I don't say Sargeras. Might of Sargeras at level 4 and block at level 1. If Vala is kiting you, you are zoning and completely controlling the enemy Vala. So I don't really think it's a counter, even though you get kited.
Yeah.
But heroes you kick butt against, Zul'jins. They have no interrupt for you. You're going to put them to sleep. Someone's going to frame up on them. You're guaranteed a amount of sleep no matter what. And that amount of sleep that they are hit during could mean they don't activate their dingo. They're repositioned poorly. I really like him against Genjis.
Dude, on that note, Sylvanas.
Yeah.
You can't activate your Withering Fire to escape. Or not Withering Fire, your wave if you're asleep.
Absolutely. Whitemane, Alexstrasza, heavy positioning characters that are really slow. You're just going to excel against. And you're really good with allies who can frame up their spells. So Li Ming, Falstad, I find really like having a Mal'Ganis along for the ride. You put them to sleep, they fire their spells. It's what wakes them up. And that feels real good. Jaina's all right because you're just in the chaos with her and you last so long. Jaina's able to get in those interesting positions and land her blizzards.
And her Cone of Cold is more important. It just makes it easy as hell.
Yeah. And you're weak to kite, and Jaina slows. So, hey, there's a nice little synergy.
You don't need to worry about the Jaina because you've got her on your team.
Yep.
Yeah, all good points. I didn't think about Raynor. I think that's because I've been struggling with Raynor for a while, but I do very well against Mal'Ganises when I'm playing Raynor.
Yeah, that's a good point from the chat. Malfurion roots, heavy roots, delaying your chase, but Muradin, Skullcracker.
Corny also brings a Brightwing, a polymorph. Really just ruins Mal'Ganis' day.
I think a polymorph ruins Johanna's day. I am terrified of Brightwing on Johanna.
Oh, totally. I mean, either of them. Like, Mal'Ganis thinking he's going to phase through people, put him to sleep and escape. I'm sorry, you're a sheep now. And Jaina, or Johanna, same thing about your... still got my iron skin. Wait, it's not working. Why isn't it working? I'm a crab.
Nope. And you were slowed, so your condemned didn't hit anything at all when you were engaging with it. I would rather be Diablo into Brightwing because while you get polymorphed, at least all your spells are on cooldown on the other side. You didn't miss them.
Brightwing, man. Love her. Cannot wait for the Deathwing skin.
It's going to be cute.
It is. So keep your emails coming, itncast@gmail.com. Again, check out patreon.com/ITN to support the show and get access to the patron-only Discord where you can write to us directly. And skip the inbox, which is going to bring us to the end of the show. Speaking of our Patreon, we really want to thank our producers, Declan H, Cheese Bob, Chris K, and Robert M, for their support. One more producer slot, by the way. If anyone out there really likes the show, wants to help us keep the lights on, pay the bigger bills, thank you very much. You can catch us live typically Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. We record a little later today, but that's fine. Over at twitch.tv/AMoveTV. Follow the show on Twitter at ITNcast. And before we go, Kyle, where can people find you?
You can find everything I do over at KyleFergusson.com. Season 2 of Kyle Explains and DM Gives Inspiration have concluded. But don't worry, the season system allows me to take a week off, get the schedule put together for next season. Those will be back on the 24th of November. So check out those shows that just completed their season 2. And of course, live streams over at twitch.tv/KyleFergusson. Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, playing Heroes of the Storm in Ranked and battling it out.
Rad. I'm Garrett Art on Twitter. I am also going to be getting back on the Classic and Coffee morning stream wagon now that I am starting to feel better. I did one on Monday. Yesterday, I was back to just zero energy, and I was like, I'm going to continue sleeping because I'm starting to feel good, and I would like to keep it that way. I will be streaming tomorrow morning. Bright and early before the instance, I'll be playing some WoW Classic, maybe even sneak in a little Battlegrounds. We'll see how it goes. Over at twitch.tv/AMoveTV. But next week, I should be better. So every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, join me at twitch.tv/AMoveTV in the morning for Classic and Coffee. We'll have some caffeine and we'll level up in WoW Classic. So everything else at amove.tv. Check it out. What's that?
How's that going? Where are you at?
It's going poorly since I traveled for a month. It was going amazing. I was approaching 3-digit stream numbers, and then I left for a month.
That's streaming for you.
Yeah, but Monday, a bunch of people showed up, a bunch of people upped their subs. It felt really good.
Nice.
It was nice. Felt really good. I'm glad to be back, even though I already missed yesterday. But I haven't had the flu in forever. This is whooping me, y'all. Just
it's a heck of a year for it.
Yeah. Jocelyn and I were comparing notes on our symptoms. We have one for one, all the same junk. So it's definitely the flu, because I also was doing some Google sleuthing, and these are the most common symptoms for the 2019 flu.
Gross.
Yeah. And it's it lasts on average 7 to 14 days. And I'm definitely going for that 14, I guess, because still the fever's gone, sore throat. I feel so much better, but there's still just so much junk in my sinuses. And I still have zero energy. I'm just exhausted 24/7.
On the instance, you said my least favorite symptom, which is being bored of being sick.
Yes. Yeah, it's just I'm bored of it at this point. It's just I'm over it. I mowed the lawn yesterday. It felt terrible, but I'm it needs to get done, and I'm bored. So I went outside and mowed the lawn. Also, the weather is amazing in Florida right now. So we've got those low 70s. Low 60s at night. Oh, it's great. It's wonderful. It's the perfect weather, Kyle. No colder, no hotter. Just keep it right in there. Keep it right in there. That's going to do it for this episode, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, good luck and have fun.
Take care.